Hey everybody, welcome back to KevCast. I'm driving in my car right now, and I'm on my way to work, and I'm just making a quick video because I had some thoughts about a couple of things. I was at work the other day, and I was getting ready to leave, and there's a bunch of young guys who are in the locker room at my job, and they're talking about how they were being treated. They weren't pleased with the way things that were going for them in their particular areas, and they were doing a lot of complaining. You know, oh, these people, they aren't fair, or he doesn't like me, or she doesn't like me. And I'm standing there, and I'm putting my boots on and stuff and getting ready to go. And one of the guys says, you know, it's not fair that when I get ready to go to break, the supervisor is asking me to come back on time, and he's kind of upset about it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, if that's the only problem that you have to worry about, you are in a very fortunate and blessed position. My stance on this whole thing is, as people, especially Americans in this country, and even particularly in this state, Texas, we are in very fortunate positions. Dare I say that we are blessed. A lot of people do not have the same opportunities afforded to them that we do. I mean, for growth, mobility, life. I mean, if you have a place to sleep, you know, and you have a phone and like regular things like that, transportation, even if you don't have transportation, you are probably very nearly in the top 50, 60, 70% of people on the planet. And I know it probably doesn't seem like that because you look around you and you see the aggregate of people and their lifestyles, and maybe you're thinking like, oh, they're better off, or they have more things. And that's sometimes it's true, but it's not always true. Some people are keeping up appearances and living a particular lifestyle, maybe one that they can't afford, maybe one that they can. Irregardless of that, it's not important. My philosophy, especially in this stance, if people are complaining about mundane things, like if someone, like, oh, there's a hater, or, you know, they don't want me to succeed, or they don't want to help me. I mean, these are basic problems that are not going to go away, but can typically be easily surmounted. And you can do better. You can self-improve. Complaining typically does not affect a positive outcome. You can note things, you can make observations, and you can change either yourself or your situation. In my opinion, one of your biggest assets, one of the things that makes people special, is you have agency. You have the ability to affect the outcome of how you're treated or the way things happen to you. Personal decisions. You can be proactive, which is always great, and have foresight, or you can be reactive, which is also not necessarily a bad thing, because you have to adapt to situations and to circumstances. So more or less, when you're challenged, because there's always a challenge, challenges never go away. That's the nature of life. It's gonna be with you until the day you die. How you respond to these challenges, rise to the occasion, and do things differently, largely affect the outcome that you receive. Some people want to help you. Some people don't care about you. And it's a kindness that people pay when they do care about you. They're not obligated to necessarily be concerned about your well-being or the personal outcome of your life. You know, this is something that people do for each other that is not necessarily required, but is expected by a lot of people. Like if someone's not nice to you or they're not friendly to you, they're not required to be friendly to you or nice to you. Another part of my philosophy is like, just do no harm, like non-violation. If people are not stopping you from improving yourself, trying to succeed in your personal station, you know, in your life, that's a beautiful thing. But I think it's lost on a lot of people, especially nowadays, because it seems like many people do not want to work harder or smarter to improve particular outcomes. You need to be the agent of your own change. You have to grab the steering wheel, so to speak. You have to be the one that's going to advocate for yourself. Being a victim just makes you a victim. And make no mistake, sometimes things happen to you. A lot of times things happen to you that you have no control over. And some of them are worse than others. This still doesn't mean that you can react and adapt to these situations to improve or become a better version of yourself. And I say this because I'm in my late 40s, and my entire life I've worked. I've never not worked, except for maybe, you know, I've been laid off for a job and I had a stint, but I've always worked for a living, and I've always tried to self-reflect and be my own agent and affect my own change so I can have favorable outcomes. So in short, I feel like a lot of people should stop complaining to the dealer, because that's what a lot of people do. It's like, oh, life isn't fair. Some people are born with tremendous, you know, resources or things that are going to give them a leg up in life. I mean, there's levels to it, and that's just the way life goes. It doesn't mean that you can't improve yourself or you cannot make things better for yourself. You have to take charge of your own personal responsibility so you can have a better, favorable outcome. Don't complain to the dealer. Play the cards. In a nutshell, that's how I feel about that. And I think maybe it's a message that we can spread and share with other people, because it seems like a lot of people lack motivation, or they're not hearing a positive message, or it's lost. It's just one of those things where when things are not easily obtained, people become discouraged, or they become upset, and they find reasons to blame other people or even the situation for not getting what you want. And life will never be fair. It will never be fair. Nobody gets to stay forever. Nobody gets everything they want all the time. But how you respond, how you react, how you plan, how you decide when you think and you use your brain, you can always affect a more favorable outcome for yourself. It's just a thought. I hear a lot of complaining. Basic level, low level complaining. These are not high level complaints. Many issues that face us here in the West are not significant issues that deter you from succeeding. A long time ago, I was in another country, and I went to a village where at night they had no power lines, no generators, no power, no running water, dirt floors. When it got dark at night, activities shut down. They had to walk like a quarter of a mile or something like that to get water from a well. And when we were there, my friends and I visiting, they treated us fantastic. And it seems like they felt as though they had a good quality of life. All of that is to say that those are serious issues. We virtually have the world at our fingertips, every resource available to you almost for free, so you can improve, so you can self-educate, so you can become a better version of yourself. I think we need to focus more on that and capitalize and make observations instead of just making complaints, because complaints are all but useless. Yes, that's it. Don't complain to the dealer. It won't do you any good. It rarely does you any good. If you're a child, if you're a baby, an infant, or you're like a very old person, or you got no arms or legs or something like that. And even then you see people succeeding because their mind is different. They think differently. Play the cards. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in a bit.